You ready to go inside, bud? Let's go inside and get cooled off. Hey y'all, it's Mikey. Welcome to the farm.
Finally got the popcorn tree down. It's time to get this mess cleaned up and hauled off.
Bear, you helping? Bear is helping to pull weeds. Yeah, I might have bitten off more than I can chew here. All right, you helping? I already started a little bit in this corner right in here. You can see the difference. Look at this. It's just overgrown. We want to get this back into a flower bed, not a weed garden. So we got quite a bit of work to do. It's just gotten really weeded and overgrown like crazy. And the bushes need to be trimmed back. And when you're busy gardening and taking care of animals, it's constant. And it's hard to get around to stuff like this. So while we have a chance and an opportunity, and we actually have some decent weather today with no rain, we're going to get out here and try to get this done as much as possible. So we're going to do a before and after. See what it looks like when we get it finished. Because y'all, anything has got to be better than this. Put my gloves on, huh? might need to put my gloves on. I usually work better pulling weeds without gloves on. I don't know, but there's, oh my goodness, thorns all up in here. So we're gonna have to try to figure out a way. Ooh. And it bites you through the gloves. So it's almost sometimes, what's the purpose of wearing gloves? Because you still get pricked and prodded. These things are almost like trees. They've gotten so big. Oh, some of these are gonna have to be dug out. What in the world, baby? dealing with weeds on top of thorns. I always get depressed when I come out here now and look at my flower bed and the yard. The puppies, they run around and make a mess. It has helped since we expanded their puppy area. They don't tear the grass up as much, but whew, y'all, this used to be kind of my pride and joy of keeping the yard up and my flower beds. And it's just gotten, it gets to the point, it gets out of hand. Ever since we started homesteading and growing our garden and raising livestock on top of it, the garden, you know, that's part of kind of what I consider when we were starting to grow. The air conditioner just turned on. Sorry about that, y'all. It is hot out here today. It's either rain or contending with the heat. So, but you know, when we started growing the garden, you know, that's kind of pretty much part of, I guess, in my opinion, your yard maintenance. But then you add all these puppies and livestock, cows, goats, pigs, on top of it. And you add that much more to your daily routine. Things like this start getting low priority. But we're going to try to get this cleaned up. moved down here, we did a lot of work. Nana just got to the point after Poppy died, and you know, you get older and can't really get out and do as much as you used to do. And Nana, she was always just so active and independent. She ended up having a stroke and a brain tumor that they did surgery on, and ended up paralyzing her on her left side. So it limited her ability to get out and do all the things that she really enjoyed doing. But even going through all that, she was bound and determined to get better. She never got 100% back to her good health. She always had problems and had to sometimes use a walker or wheelchair. But she drove herself to church every Sunday, and that's pretty much what me and Bill would do. The family, not just me and Bill, but the family would get together at least every other weekend and come down and mow the grass and weed eat and try to help Nana keep this place up down here, because it's a lot to keep up with. That was always kind of our family time together too. We would get together, come out here and put a full day's work in, trimming bushes, cutting grass, weed eating, pulling weeds. And then whenever we got done, we'd all go in. Oh, try to be careful. That's all them thorns. We'd all get together and go in and sit down and enjoy a nice home-cooked meal together and fellowship together. Families just don't seem to do that too much anymore. We've forgotten what it's like a lot of times to get out, help our neighbors and our family. Got some earthworms in here, man. Those are some nice ones. That means this soil is really good and fertile. But yeah, it's sad that our world's gotten that way. We've gotten so accustomed to just communicating through social media, and we don't really pick up the phone, call and talk anymore. It's easier to just send a text message. I don't know, I just think sometimes that just takes the personalization out of communication. And you know what I've noticed is people really are longing for that interaction and communication with each other. You know, our ancestors relied on family and neighbors to get things done. Yep, we used to take care of each other. Not so much anymore. But as long as they can keep us divided, where we're no longer helping our neighbors, we're not really communicating with one another, and we're keeping that division between ourselves, anytime something happens where we need help, it just makes us that much more dependent on our government instead of each other.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is try to tote as much as this root ball as I possibly can to save a trip and put it on the brush pile. So I'm gonna try to get as much of it as I can, hopefully all of it. Oh, lost it, y'all. what the green popcorn tree, that's what we call it, my granddaddy called it, looks like as of right now when we just knocked the tree down. This is what happens in the wintertime. That's how it gets its name, popcorn, because it looks like little kernels of popcorn. But as you can see down here, there's 100 of the little sprouts coming up, and we're having to, they just pop up everywhere. That's another reason we're getting rid of it. They're up in the muscadine orchard, in the garden, in the puppy pen. And if we wanted a tree, all I gotta do is plant that right now wherever we would want another popcorn tree. So no shortage of them.
All right, so I've just about got everything weeded. I just got to get back there around the air condition, finish around the edge, get some monkey grass moved around, get some mulch in here, try to do something with the ivy that's growing up on this bush. When we transplanted that bush, the ivy kind of came along with it. And then, of course, still dealing with all the briars. So anyway, hubby came out here and trimmed back those bushes for me. I'm a little too short to get to those, but y'all can see I am drenching sweat. So anyway, we'll get back on this project again tomorrow. It doesn't look like it now, but it is starting to shape up a little bit. You ready to go inside, bud? Let's go inside and get cooled off. Yeah. Y'all's air-conditioned babies. Spoiled rotten. Well, we're back at it. Come on, Toots. Let's give the house a good washing. right, y'all. Let's go get some mulch. That's it. All right, that's a good boy. Now we can talk. Are you gonna take care of your flower bed, buddy? He said he's gonna try to keep Tootsie on top of it. Y'all come back and see us soon.